G'day, another used tool review today. This one is another toolkit. This is the second toolkit that I ever purchased. This is a Kincrome wall cap. This was purchased in about 2001. It was bought in Hamilton in Victoria. Again, like my Super Tool toolkit, it was purchased from Hunt's Auto Spares in Hamilton. And I've had this with me for the last 20 years, with the exception of after I purchased it about 2001, I was on the road working, moving from a lot of different towns, and that kind of prevented me from having a toolkit like this with me all the time. I kept my Super Tool kit with me pretty much through that period. It wasn't until 2006 that I moved back, bought a house, and established a home workshop where I could have a wall cabinet again. So I got this back again, but it was principally in use from about 2006 to say 2015. It was my principal go-to toolkit, and I wanted to review it in light of the other tool reviews I've done, and particularly looking at would I buy it again and what the quality of the tools have been like. So why I bought a wall cabinet. Nowadays, not many wall cabinets for sale, admittedly. Most tool brands, many don't even offer a wall cabinet. Whereas wall cabinets back then, this is 20 years ago, fairly common offering from tool suppliers. Nowadays, more roll cabinets form the backbone of most tool suppliers' tool catalogs. This was purchased for $1,500. You can still get this kit from Kincrome. It's in the catalog at the moment for $2,000, so that's probably not a unreasonable markup over 20 years to have a 30% increase in price. But it's about $2,000 in the Kincrome catalogue at the moment. It's purchased for $1,500 for me. It's been a pretty good toolkit. The reason I got it was I really wanted the wall cabinet. I was doing a lot of work with a guy down that way who was a standalone fella in his own workshop, and this is what he had. He had this toolkit, and I really looked up to him, took a lot of his advice. And in his workshop, it was a small shed and never far away from your tools. So this worked quite well. So that's what he had, so that's what I wanted to get. I bought my Super Tool toolkit to kick things off because I couldn't afford this one. This was on an apprentice wages way outside the range of my finances. So I saved, bought it later. And the other reason I bought Kincrome was we were very well looked after. That workshop would break a tool, take it into to Hunt's, replaced every time, no problems. We weren't abusing tools, but occasionally one breaks, take it back, never a problem in claim, and we got really, really good service. I wanted to support that service with patronage on a new toolkit, so this is what I got. So how have I found it over 20 years? Well, it's not my principal toolkit anymore. Now I use a roll cab, but this is still in use every day. This is in the farm workshop, and my staff use it 5 days a week reliably. This is the principal tool set that they use. They've got other stuff that supplements it, but this is the principal tool set that they use in one of the workshops. So quality-wise, all the tools are still there. The ones that are missing, there's a couple of odd screwdrivers. There's a few things missing today, but this is a video in between doing jobs, so we've got a few things on the bench over here. But anyway, the tools are all still here. Everything that came with the kit is still in it, apart from what has been replaced. We haven't broken anything. Nothing's broken, so that's been really good. But there's some tools I like, some tools I don't like so much in this kit. And that makes it difficult in terms of recommending it now, knowing what I know 20 years on from having bought it. But anyway, so came with Phillips head, flat screwdrivers. They're good screwdrivers. They're the best set of screwdrivers that I own. They're the Kincrome Torquemaster screwdrivers. They've got really nice grips. I love the grips. The heads on them are really good. It seems to, looking at my Jimmy Tools toolkit, I don't like the screwdrivers as much. I don't think you can grip them as nicely, and I don't like the tips. The tips always seem to be, in that toolkit, always seem to be just a little off and not exactly good for getting a good purchase on your screw compared to these ones. I really like these screwdrivers. In fact, I would say they're the best screwdrivers I own. They're my screwdrivers of choice for sure. I really like screwdrivers. Comes with 3 shifters. That's the big one and the medium one. There's a big one, which we must be using at the moment. Good set of good quality shifters. Like those shifters, and I like that you get 3. A couple of toolkits that I've purchased recently for staff didn't come with a big enough set of shifters. That set of 3 is enough to get you by for pretty much most tasks. If you want something really, really big, then that's a specialty tool. But to get you started, that's a good set of shifters, those 3. Ball peen hammer, comes with Vise Grips. These are Vise Grips and multi-grips. Vise Grips these are early Kincrome Vise Grips. The new ones are better. I find the spring pops out a lot in this one, which is a real annoyance, but you can always get it back together again, but it does have a tendency of popping out, which I do find a bit annoying. Multi-grips, you're either going to use them or you're not. You know, you got a long breaker bar, standard Kincrome 1/2 inch drive, shifter, 3/8, and a couple of extensions. This is an old toolkit, so it doesn't have the wobble ends on the extensions, which is a little annoying, but that is what it is. 3 sets of pliers. Most toolkits usually have more than that, but that's okay to get you started, and there's nothing wrong with them. Like the Torquemaster screwdrivers, I really like the grips on these pliers. Really nice to hold and use, like them. Comes with a set of feeler gauges, a couple of pry bars, small one, and that's a big one. Feeler gauges, comes with some jeweler's screwdrivers. You're going to use them or not. Set of cold chisel and punches. These have been absolutely flogged up. This is a good addition. Really good addition that these are in the kit, because these get used a lot. Always grinding these back because we wear the tips down. Very good that they're in there. The socket set goes up to, that's your biggest, in 1.25 inch, and where's metric? 23mm in metric. 23mm is not big enough in metric, needs to be bigger than that, but that's what you get. 1.25 inch is not too bad on the other side, but on the metric side that is too small. They're standard Kincrome sockets. Now if I had my time today and I was buying this toolkit, I would much prefer to have lock-on sockets, but this is what you get in. Lock-on didn't exist back then. You get sockets in 3/8, 1/2 inch and 1/4, but there's no 1/4 inch extensions and no 1/4 inch ratchet, but there are 1/4 inch sockets with a reducer, you can use them. In here you've got some screw extractors, you've got some pipe wrenches, which are useless, but I'll come to that, and some impact Allen key bits, which are good. The Allen keys are an old school set of Allen keys. Ball ends would be better. Again, didn't see a lot of ball ends back 20 years ago, but they'd be a better set of Allen keys. This is an old set of Allen keys. Will get you by, but ball end better nowadays. Okay. Heaps of spanners. Open-ended spanners, ring spanners, metric and imperial. They're not big enough, get that out of the way. 13/16 in imperial, and that's an aftermarket inch that I bought because it didn't come with an inch. And it goes up to 23mm. Sorry, it goes up inches as big as it gets. I bought 15/16, that didn't come with it. Sorry about that. And 23mm as big as it gets to on metric size. That's fine for that set of spanners. They're not great spanners, I got to admit. Like, I haven't broken any, and they will function fine. I like the angle on them. They're not completely flat, but that's fairly standard in a spanner. But they're not a great thing to grip. I remember buying my first set of Ratchet Spanners, and I bought them from Kincrome, and they were a mirror finish rounded, like most spanners are. And I remember grabbing them and going, wow, these things are magnificent to hold compared to my Kincrome ones. These ones have got a groove in the middle. They're kind of rough finished. They're recessed with the Kincrome and then the size of the spanner inside it. I don't reckon they're great to hold. A mirror finish with a nice concave surface of modern spanners would be far better than these. They're fine. They'll do the job. I haven't broken any. They're not suffering in build quality. There's just better spanners really today. And then you get a set of double open-ended spanners and double rings. Now the problem, this is where the problem lies, is I don't use them. I don't use my double open-ended ring spanners. My double open-ended spanners, and I don't use my double ring spanners. I just don't use them. I need usually a spanner and a ratchet if I'm undoing something. That usually gets me out of trouble. I don't use these and I don't use these. I'll use them, and so I look back at this toolkit now and I go, there's a lot of tools in here I don't use. I don't use the pipe wrenches. I don't use the double ring spanners. I don't use the double open-ended spanners. If I was going to buy sockets, I'd buy lock-on sockets. I wouldn't buy these. There's some stuff here that I wouldn't buy again. And that's the problem with this toolkit. The wall cabinet itself is typical Kincrome fare. It's solid enough. This has moved across the country literally many, many times. It's been hung on many different walls. And the hinges are all fine. There's no problems there at all. I don't worry about the quality of the tool cabinet itself, the wall cabinet itself. I do have a TTI wall cab, and I think its build quality of the cabinet is better than this one, but that is what it is. But it's fine, like it'll do everything you want it to do. It's got the drawer, it still slides, there's no problems there. But there's just a lot of tools in here that I don't need. And so if I say, would I buy this again? Well, Kincrome, tool quality's fine, no problems there, but I don't want these, I don't want these, I don't want your pipe spanners. You know, I want a different set of sockets, I want a different set of spanners probably. I'd probably got some mirror finish ones rather, and rounded ones than those ones. I wouldn't buy it again. It's not a fault of wall cabinets. I know some people don't like wall cabinets. I quite like wall cabinets, especially in small workshop scenarios. If you're doing all your tool work in a confined space or relatively confined space, I think a wall cabinet is excellent, especially with that sort of a layout, because like at the moment you can see where the missing tools are. So that means we've got them out on the bench here somewhere, and we can quickly run around and grab them, whack them back in here, and then go home knowing everything's been put away. No problems at all. It's easy to survey that. With a roll cab, you got to open all the drawers and check. So it's very easy to miss something. Whereas with a wall cabinet, it's very easy to see that everything's still there. And you know, you get muscle memory with a roll cab eventually, and you go, oh, that's the drawer for the screwdrivers, that's the drawer for the stubby ratchets or whatever. You get muscle memory, you know exactly where everything is. But with this, you just look and there it is, you grab it. Or you can go, oh, do I need that size or that size? I'll grab that size. I quite like the layout of wall cabinets, but in a large workshop like my home workshop, 6 bays, I find a roll cab works better because you can drag it right over to where you're working on everything with you. You don't have to track back 6 bays to get something that you've left behind. But I've got no problems with wall cabinets. It's just this wall cabinet, as I said, it's been fine. It's still in use. I haven't broken anything. It's just, it's contained a lot of stuff I don't need and don't use. And that prevents me from recommending it. It's still for sale today. If you disagree with me, if these other tools are exactly what you're looking for, then if it contains the tools that you use, then buy it, because it's been great in terms of quality, but in terms of nothing's broken. But I would lay this out differently. I would buy the screwdrivers again. That's the shifter set is fine, but after that, I kind of go, I'd probably be supplementing with either other things from a different tool catalog, or even within Kincrome's in the case of the lock-on sockets. I'd buy lock-on sockets. I wouldn't buy these ones. This is an old hard molded plastic tray. Back then, you know, very, very rare, if at all, that we ever saw Eva foam, but hard plastic tray, that's neither here nor there. If that's contained a full set of lock-on sockets, I couldn't fault it. I'd say the sockets were fine. I'd also want a 1/4-inch ratchet. So when I look at this, there's just too much that's missing that I think, you know, I want a bigger set of metric sockets. I want a bigger set of spanners. I want different sockets. I don't want this other stuff that I'm getting that I'm not going to use. I wouldn't buy it again. Kincrome, no problem with you as a tool brand, but I wouldn't buy this tool cabinet again. It served me well, and it will continue to serve me well, I have no doubt, and it is in constant use, and that's great. But if I was starting out, I think that there's better places you can start. In fact, watch for my upcoming video, which will review my TTI wall cabinet. Now, I'm not meaning to critique that as to say that the tools in that TTI wall cabinet are better quality than this. It's just that in terms of a base to set up a workshop, I find the TTI wall cabinet to be a better offering to build a workshop around. Thanks for watching.